Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the most musty podcast ever. This is the DDT Domain podcast. I am your host, Jan. Correction, I'm your co-host, Jan, because it's not a one-man show, it's a two-man show, and my second man is right here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Cam. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fine. I've got a bottle of Prime hydration here, and I'm ready to start the podcast.
Wonderful. I think we should have a little review. What flavor do you have there?
What was that? I blanked out. I was enjoying my Prime.
Oh, okay, so that's a good start in terms of reviewing it. So what flavor do you have, and how good is it? On a scale of 1 to amazing.
It's the strawberry watermelon, and one of the better ones, to be honest. I'm not very. I don't really like the Primes. I've only really liked the orange one and the Meta Moon one, and this one's got through half of it already. So
Wonderful. Well, speaking of wine, it's
nearly finished.
one of his main benefactors, Logan Paul, was at a certain event last Saturday. Do you want to know which one it is? Because it was a big one on the road to WrestleMania.
AEW Revolution.
Oh, I imagine the crossover, but unfortunately not. It was WWE's Elimination Chamber event. I mean, who knows? Maybe Paul appears on Revolution. WWE's
Yeah, he's in the crowd.
Yeah,
For Jake's debut.
relaxed company now with you know who gone. So who knows? But anyway, yeah, I think it was a good show. We can kick off with the pre-show. They got Indy Harlow on. It was her and Candice LeRae of The Way. Unsuccessfully challenging for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles against the Kabuki Warriors. It was not a nothing match, but it was a stereotypical pre-show match. Good to get Indy on the card, but yeah, nothing really. Just to get the crowd pops and get them hyped for the match, and Kabuki Warriors retained.
Yeah, I didn't see the match. I was asleep. I didn't wake up properly until about 10:15. So I missed it. I had the pre-show on, but I couldn't keep myself awake for that part specifically. It was nice to see Indy get like a hometown pop, not hometown, but a home area, home country in Australia to actually get to do that, which was nice. But unfortunately, didn't win. Kabuki Warriors retained.
Also, shout out
the better outcome, to be fair.
Exactly. You don't really want to have the winner be just because they're from a certain country. It made more sense for the champs to retain. And also, before we get into the main show, shout out to you motherfuckers in America who had to wake up super early for it, like we do every single pay-per-view. 10 a.m. for us, 5 a.m. for you. It was good. Anyway, so we kicked off with the Women's Elimination Chamber. It was I think it was a better chamber. You may have a different thought on this, but
it was a very slow start for me.
Yeah, it was.
I really didn't enjoy the beginning.
No, it was quite sloppy in parts, but it sort of built up and it got better as we went on. Standout performance for Tiffany Stratton. Really good match by her. You can tell she was feeding off the crowd, and the crowd was feeding off her. Yeah, she was a high point. Liv did good job too. Bianca Belair really came into it in the end of the match, and it was Becky Lynch who walked out victorious, challenging for the winner of Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. She'll be in the main event of WrestleMania, you'd think, unless a certain tag team match gets ahead of that. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
That's for later.
Yeah, exactly.
I noticed you didn't mention Naomi at all there, and it makes a lot of sense because she was terrible in that match.
Yeah.
I noticed when Liv Morgan came in and then Naomi got eliminated, the match really picked up a lot. Like, I don't know why she's back. I don't like Naomi. She's not good. She's gotten worse since leaving and going to TNA. Like, she's just terrible.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I'd say the styles between WWE and TNA are a bit different. Not as different as they were, say, 10 years ago, but they are different.
Well, Jordynne Grace looked great in the Rumble.
Oh, she's an absolute star. Of course, I'm trying to defend Naomi, but I think Jordynne Grace is much more of a rounded competitor compared. But yeah, in terms of Naomi, I think she's still getting her feet wet in the WWE pool again. So I would give her a bit of time, see how she is post-Mania, because it is the debut in the Rumble and, Mania season. Last person who did that with flying colors, I think, is AJ. So I'm gonna give Naomi the benefit of the doubt, but
I'd
the
argue
word,
Johnny Knoxville, but you know.
yeah, I mean, he gave us that amazing match for saying Mania 38, so you can't really complain there. But yeah, it was a good thing. It was a good match to kick off the show, set a good precedent. Happy we'll be getting Lynch in the main event. You could have given it to Bianca, and Rhea would have been a good Mania match, and they can still do that in the future. But yeah, I think Becky is probably the way to go right now. Do you think that was a right winner of the chamber?
100%. It's a match I don't think we've ever seen before, which is quite nice for a Mania main event. Well, I don't even think it's going to main event. I don't know why I said that, but like just for a Mania match in general, because I think we'll get Bailey and Io main event in, which it should main event. Whether it actually happens is a different story, but that should really be the main event. But yeah, Becky versus Rio was the match I wanted from the start.
Mm.
And I'm looking forward to getting it. It's going to be a good match.
Yeah, because I know we haven't had this match. We may have had it before, but I know we haven't had it since COVID hit. So a good 4 years. So even if we have had it, it's fresh in the mind, which is massive. So it's basically a first time match if you think about it. I guess next, I don't have the card off the top of my head, but I know all the matches we had. We had 4 matches. I believe
Next match
our
was
next,
Logan, wasn't it? No, he was in the
no,
chamber.
no,
What am I saying?
it was. I think he just got Logan on the brain because of Prime, which I don't blame you.
Oh yeah, I was just admiring it again. Oh.
I mean, we'll get into Logan's performance later because I think it was one of the stars of the night. But I think the next match we had was Judgment Day versus Newcastle Republic.
Oh,
And
of course.
speaking of, I think this was match of the night. Nothing too insane happened. It was just good work.
Good wrestling.
Exactly. Like,
And Damian Priest failing to knock Finn off the ropes.
yeah, I think,
If you remember that spot.
yeah, he just stumbled into him. Almost makes you think it's intentional. Oh my god.
Oh no way.
Oh my god, dissension in the Judgment Day. That's never happened before.
Nah, never.
No, but it was a good match. Obviously there was not going to be a title changing hands there. I think it was just a
I
case
think
of
with that match, there was a possibility of it happening, but
what for the shock
it
factor.
was. Yeah, I think there was a possibility of it happening.
Yeah, well, a certain former member of Judgment Day showed up in Austria instead of Australia, so they didn't really show up to help. They didn't
He was
hinder
visiting
either.
Gunter.
Hmm. Oh yeah, because he wasn't. Yeah, his visa issues. He can't. He couldn't leave, could he?
He went to Austria as well.
Yeah. So I like the match. I enjoyed it. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. I hope they get more screen time heading into post-Mania season. I'm so happy. I know it's like it's aesthetic and it's quality of life. I'm so happy they changed his name from Butch. I know.
100%. I
Go
wasn't
ahead.
against Butch. I wasn't
No.
against Butch, the name Butch. But it's so nice knowing he's Pete Dunne again. The
Yeah.
bruiserweight Pete Dunne is a lot nicer to say than Butch, the guy he hangs around with Sheamus.
They could have called him the Butcher Weight, but no, probably not.
Butcher and the Blade.
Um, who would be a Blade? Shinsuke probably because of his
Butcher and the
bonus
Blade.
class. Yeah. Oh god, don't give them ideas. So speaking of Gunter, remember when he changed his name and everyone was up in arms about it? And after a certain while, I think we find, yeah, Gunter just sounds better now. I don't think that was going to be the case for Butch. I think it was always.
That's the way it is with name changes. Like, you look at, I can think of many examples. Like, I remember when Gunter's name got changed, Finn Balor was the first to say they hated Finn too. And now Finn Balor's top star. You've got so many people whose name changed that we didn't like, and we just got used to it. It's like,
And I think we were more up in arms about this one because we're in an era now where you can keep your indie name. Ever since AJ came in, he was AJ Styles and he kept his name.
even before then.
Because we had Kenta go to Hideo Itami, which wasn't an awful name, but Kenta's better. We had Prince Devitt.
I mean, the problems were they debut as their other name. Like Asuka came in as Kana, and got her name changed. Kenta came in as Kenta and then changed it to Hideo. Those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head. But I guess you're right. It was really Finn Balor, AJ Styles that started it. I thought there was a name before then. I think Robert Roode came in 2016 as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, because before it was like Pac got changed to Neville, Adrian Neville, Jericho got changed to Zayn. Owens
Didn't.
was Zayn always Zayn? Yeah, Zayn was always Zayn.
Zayn was a product of the Performance Center. It was El Generico that got him into wrestling.
Yeah, Steen was Owens. They've got better with it, is what I'm saying.
I do prefer the name Kevin Owens over Kevin Steen, though, because one, it's a tribute to Owen Hart, and two, it's a tribute to his son, who he was named after Owen Hart, apparently. So Owens is a much better name than Steen.
I guess it does help that as long as you can book them right, the name change is not as big a deal because they changed
You can
Gunther.
call him Gunner McGillibuddy or something, and it'll be fine.
I know what you mean. I know the reference there. So with Gunther, and we're going off a tangent, but just to tie up in a bow, because I know Vince, that little rapist, before he was going, he was gonna quote unquote bury him or just not, ruin his aura, so to speak. But as soon as Hunter came in and became the head guy in charge of creative, exactly, like really says career trajectory, like notion. With Butch, it's been ups and downs. It's not been that good. It's not been awful.
It's the wrong show. Ups and downs.
What?
That's not our show.
Here's
That's
why.
not our gimmick.
I hit my head really hard there. You think if I hit my head and I change my name? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you get a concussion and you go.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so I'm happy that it's back. It was probably not a Hunter move to have him named Butch. I'm happy that it's but very good match. Judgment Day retained. I think that the move now is to have Truth and Miz face them at Mania, unless you think any different.
I think Truth and Miz at Mania is going to be great. Because Truth has never won at WrestleMania as well, by the way.
Good.
He first debuted in WWE over 20 years ago. He's 24 years ago. He's come and gone since then. He came back in like 2008 as R-Truth. But if we get Miz and Truth versus Judgment Day at Mania, it's going to be great because R-Truth is going to get the pin. And the pop is going to be insane. One, because it's R-Truth winning a championship in 2024. Fantastic. I don't care if he's in his 50s. He moves like he's 30 and looks like he's 20. Like, that's a star. And because he's never won, it's such a feel-good moment that he's won a match at WrestleMania this late into his career.
And he's going to pin Damian.
It's going to be great.
He's got to pin Damian.
What? I don't know. You can do either. You can either have him pin Damian or Damian accidentally causes Finn to get pinned. There's two ways you can go about it.
And I think no matter what happens, this will set up for the implosion of the Judgment Day. I don't know how, but okay, little bit of fantasy booking here. Awesome Truth win the titles. Priest cashes in on Rollins at the end of Mania or whenever the end of their match is. Dominic Mysterio wins the next Money in the Bank and cashes in on Damian.
No. I've got an idea that I think could work. So you have Priest and Finn lose. Dominic lose.
Okay.
To Gunther for the IC title.
What, Mania?
You have Becky beat Rhea.
Okay.
No titles to be seen.
Ooh.
All that's left is the Money in the Bank briefcase. Damian comes out on Raw. Drew is injured. He wins the world title. He's hurt. He just had a match at Mania. He's hurt. They have a discussion backstage, Judgment Day, and Rhea says, or someone says, that's being cashed in tonight, and we're bringing gold back to Judgment Day. Priest fails. That's where Priest gets kicked out, and you start the whole sort of disintegration properly. There's no gold in Judgment Day. There's no reason for them to be friendly anymore.
I like that because I feel like for so many years, the Money in the Bank briefcase was just used as a way to hotshot a new champion because they always like to promote and plug, oh, this has an 80% cash-in rate or something.
Yeah.
You want the Money in the Bank contract to be used as a plot device. Like, so a failed cash-in means something. Like with Austin Theory, he cashed in on a US title and he lost, and everyone hated it at the time, but it kind of set him straight. It was like a humbling moment. So as long as you,
I'm starting to think, like, what is the point in that? If he's gonna lose the match anyway, just have him cash in on Roman and get speared. He's losing anyway.
I think it was a case of they wanted the US title to feel important, but I agree they should have they should have done it in SummerSlam. Why not? And then because I know they wanted to whoever the challenger at the time, who we will not name, they wanted to keep him strong, I assume, so they could have had it was a triple threat last man standing match. How would that worked? Anyway,
No idea.
Yeah, no,
it just turns into a normal match, maybe.
Yeah, basically, and just have Theory take the pin. But yeah, I like your idea. They need to make the Money in the Bank contract more than just a guaranteed new champion. It's a bit lazy, and also you can do so much more with that contract. But yeah, it was the right call for Judgment Day to win.
We've spent too long talking about Judgment Day. Let's move on to that next match. It was Fatal 4-Way, correct? Or was it Triple Threat? Can't remember.
It was a chamber.
It was a threat, triple threat. No, no. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Rumble. Oh, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, okay.
There was only 4 matches on the card. Oh, ignore me. Just carry on.
It's fine. It's fine. While this was my second favorite team, but it was, I think the running theme is these are just really good matches all across the card. I feel like everyone put in a decent show in. They could have done a little bit more with Logan Paul, but that is saying something because Logan Paul still had a good performance. Randy Orton, amazing selling. I couldn't tell he was injured or not at the time.
Oh, I thought he was hurt.
Yeah, I know now he was just selling, but that's a testament to how good Orton is.
Orton is the perfect professional wrestler. You want to build a wrestler from the ground up. Everyone has always said you build a professional wrestler from the ground up. You use Randy Orton as the base.
Yeah, he's a blueprint. Yeah, so he was selling, and it was just really good work by Orton. You thought he was genuinely injured. That's just how good he is. It came down to, we'll get into like parts of the match you were watching and anything you want to point out, but I'll just get into the main meat of it. It was down to Orton and McIntyre. The final three was Logan involved, and he got RKO'd, an amazing piece of camera work. Had the knucks. Orton RKO out of nowhere. He's eliminated. Down to Orton and
fantastic
McIntyre.
Camera work, by the way.
I know. Yeah, especially like in the end of the match, which we'll get to now.
It was obvious he was about to get RKO'd, but the camera work was great. How it just slides in and takes him out 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because he was not on the camera for any of that until the RKO happened. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, Logan's out. It was McIntyre and Orton. Orton was selling the back in a way that he couldn't get up to get hit with the Claymore. Some would argue playing possum because Orton got with an RKO. And then Logan rolls in, hits him with the knucks. We had no idea because the camera was not focusing on him. There was even a video with Logan bullshitting the ref. I'm too hurt to exit. I'm too hurt to leave.
That was great. And he knows the business, man.
I know, he's an natural, and that caused McIntyre to win. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this match?
McIntyre Seth rather than Punk versus Seth, which is
perfect.
A bit sad.
Best plan B they could ask for.
I think anyone in that chamber match could have won, and it would make sense. Who was actually in the match? I forget. LA Knight.
Yeah. Logan, Orton, McIntyre, Lashley, and Owens.
Right, Lashley made the least sense.
Yeah.
Didn't want that match at all. Owens, they've got history. Makes the second least amount of sense, though, if we're going with it.
LA Knight, he had a
LA
mega
Knight,
rise last year, so
he got taken out by fucking AJ Styles. Bro flew 23 hours on a flight just to cost LA Knight a championship opportunity.
pure hater behavior there.
Drew's got some competition in the hater,
It's Drew, LA Knight, Christian. There's a lot of guys. Also,
So LA Knight would have been fun. Again, doesn't make too much sense given what we've seen. Orton, I'd like to see Orton and Seth again. That'd be great. Logan, would love to see that again, just not right now. We saw it last year at Mania. It looks like we'll be getting Orton versus Logan, which will be a good match. But Drew, they've got the history. Drew's first title that he won in lockdown. His first feud was Seth. Seth's first feud with this title was Drew. And now it finally gets to end with hopefully Drew retaining.
In front of fans.
It's just good storytelling.
Yeah, he gets to do it in front of fans, which is the whole thing for Drew. He's a justified heel. He never got his moment. He got his moment, but it was it was always an asterisk of no one was there to see it. He didn't feel the gratification in person. So I'm excited for that match. Real quickly, mention how it looks like they're pivoting to Orton and Logan. Do you think they run that one-on-one match, or is it going to be some sort of multi-man for the US title, which involves AJ and Liam?
I think it could have Kevin Owens in there.
Okay. Yeah, because Owens and Paul. Yeah. I mean, 5-man sounds decent. You don't really want to add people in for the sake of adding it, so that would be a good match.
You could make it a ladder match.
Yeah, because remember
your classic WrestleMania ladder match.
Mid-2010s, there were some great ladder matches, weren't there? Mania.
Gets people on the card too, so that's what you need.
And it was not even the case of
6 people.
Yeah, we'll add someone else. Who do you add?
Grayson Waller.
Yeah, Waller or Theory. One of them two. Depends on who you want there. Hell, add them both. Man. Yeah, he appears on the Dynamite after Revolution. He's just like a free agent. And it's not WWE in 2024. If you're adding people to the card, you're not doing it for the sake of adding to the card just to give people a payday. Like, they are too good not to be on the card. It feels like
that is true.
Feels like together. The whole universe feels together because Triple H is good with his booking. And with it, last 10 years ago, it was just everything was disjointed. You just want everyone on the card. Now it's just okay. It feels like a universe. So yeah, multi-man. I like it.
Should we move on to the main event now, or have we got more to talk about the Chamber?
I don't believe so. I will say I liked what Logan did with his Chamber pod with Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah, the drawing. Oh, we should mention that he got bored and started drawing on the Chamber pod.
Like you said, he's a natural, isn't he?
It was great. Kevin Owens just going insane in the pod. He was not happy. I think when Bobby Lashley was making his entrance, Lashley threw his jacket at the pod, and Owens sort of reacted like, "Whoa!"
I mean,
he started headbutting the pod when Logan was taunting him. Like
with Orton, you couldn't tell he was injured or not. With Owens, you couldn't tell if his character was pissed or he as a person was pissed. Like he just seemed pissed.
I also want to mention Orton when LA Knight was on the pod and Orton stuck his finger through the grating and started tickling LA Knight's foot. That was funny.
It just feels like
tickle, wiggle.
It just felt like a fun chamber to watch. Like, it wasn't the best match.
It was great. I'll be one I'll rewatch for years.
Yeah, it was up there, and that's a good thing about wrestling now. Like, even if the match is not the best on the card, it's light years ahead of what we were being served in the 2010s. Yes. Would you like to go on to the main event with the 2 Australians?
I didn't like it too much.
Oh,
I'll be real.
Okay,
it was a fun match.
Yeah.
But I feel like the fact it was Nia Jax sort of brought it down.
I guess it's like this feels like what you do in the 80s with Hogan. You give him the biggest heel, literal biggest, like, in terms of height and weight, them to overcome.
Like Andre.
Yeah. It was his Andre moment. It wasn't like 2023 Rumble where he got the Riptide on her. No problem. But the main thing is here, and this, if anyone doesn't know, is Rhea Ripley defending her women's title against Nia Jax in Australia, her home country. She looked like a star. Rhea looked like a star, and I think that's what they were going for. She is on that Cody level, in my opinion. Maybe not as terms of like she's not a
in the
face.
terms of women's wrestling as a whole, not even just WWE.
No, she is. When she goes down, she will go down in the same air as Trish and Mickey and China.
You'd hope so, considering she's better than them.
And she's only 27 too.
Yeah, she's still got another 10 years at least, minimum.
She could go 20 with her physique, I feel, if she wanted to.
100%.
But yeah, it was standard match. It's one of them cases where the match isn't too great, but the crowd is so invested in one person, it doesn't need to be that great. The whole momentum of the crowd to just propels.
I do want to point out something that happened after the match.
Okay.
So while Rhea was celebrating with her family, some guy came out of nowhere and started rubbing her hair, and then security came in and just shoved him out of the way, and it just made me giggle.
Yeah, it
just made me giggle.
Yeah,
she's having a personal moment. You come in here and you just get shoved by security.
It doesn't matter if she's a performer and she's going to the front row. You remember when Punk jumped into the crowd? People were going to touch his hair and his shoulders and all that because he jumped into the crowd. If you're going to your family and it's quite apparent that it's her family, you had.
You could see her sister was there, and she's identical to Rhea, so you can clearly tell it's family.
She's like a 10 years younger version of Rhea, so it's a family. It doesn't really give you free rein even if you paid your money to be there to go and start harassing the talent. It's weird. Don't do that.
It just made me giggle how he got shoved and quite literally launched by security, and it just made me giggle.
Yeah, if you push boundaries like that, absolutely, get a weird guy out of that, send him to the third row or something. But yeah, I think it was a good show overall. There wasn't really a bad match on the card. I guess the weakest match was the main event, but it wasn't by any means a bad match.
It was always going to be the weakest match, I feel. But it had to be the main event.
Yeah, because imagine just putting on this match seconds and everyone's just tired for the men's chamber.
Yeah.
But yeah, good show.
I think that's covered chamber, yeah.
Wonderful. It was a good setup. I like the fact that it was 4 matches over that. It gives all the matches time to breathe, which I like.
I do want some more matches on the cards, but it's hard when you've got chambers and rumbles.
And they also had the Grayson Waller effect that took up time too, which not in a bad way. It was just Cody.
Oh, it was fun. Seth Rollins sold the curb stomp. No. Austin Theory sold the curb stomp the same way I was practicing for years when I was younger.
Austin Theory.
As you're there, the stomp happens, you drop down, you stand on your neck slightly and flip over. I was practicing that sell for years when I was younger, and Theory's went ahead and did it. I'm devastated. That was my dream sell, and he's went and done it.
Say what you want about his wrestling ability, his selling, his ring awareness. There's a spot we'll talk about SmackDown where he and Orton go through something and how
that's all I saw from SmackDown.
Yeah, and so we can talk about that when it shows up. But yeah, Theory, he will be around for at least 10 years. He's that type of superstar.
He should really turn face though.
I think that's
if you see what he does with the kids, signing autographs and just interacting, he comes off such a genuine guy. I can't buy him as a heel.
When we get into SmackDown, we're going to talk about why I feel like they're setting him up for face turn. So yeah, good segment, good show overall. And not 2 days later, we had Monday Night Raw. Did you manage to catch any of the show? I know you have a busy schedule.
Probably. I just can't remember it.
I'll go off what I remember. So the opening segment was Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. With them two winning their respective matches. Their match is now set in stone for WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch trading some BDSM jokes. I'm not going to say them on air because it's a bit too NSFW. NSFW. But I guess they can't really go right into it right now. you got a month to build, so you can kind of take your time with it. There was a bit of a stopgap. Nia Jax coming back out wanting a rematch. Becky gets involved, says, "Hey, forget that rematch with Nia. Forget that rematch with Rhea. I want the rematch with you. I can't." And she said this to Pierce afterwards. I can't focus on
Oh
Rhea.
god, a sneeze! Jesus Christ!
Sorry, I'm allergic.
Continue.
Yours is allergic to it. Nia Jax is me. It's okay. So I think Becky Lynch said to Pierce, "I can't think about Rhea until I get past the Nia Jax mental roadblock." So next week we'll have Becky Lynch versus Nia. How are you feeling in terms of this? I know we talked about how the match is probably the right one for Mania, but how are you feeling about the feud and are you excited for this match at Mania?
What the Becky Rhea?
Yes.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's something I've wanted for a little bit now. I think it's too early to start judging now.
Okay.
I'll probably see within a month if it's worth it when we actually come to Mania, because it's going to be a month build up. I don't think 4 episodes of Raw is enough to build a Mania match.
Yeah.
But the match will be good, hopefully.
Hmm.
Normally, 2 of the best wrestlers, when they get into a ring together, they never have chemistry.
No. A good example
And
is AJ and Kevin Owens. There's a few. You can be 2 top stars and not have chemistry. Sadly,
yeah, it's a shame.
I'm hoping it's
So
a case
hopefully it's
of
not a case of that.
no, and it's just them wanting to push back the dream match for the bigger stage, and not because they fear chemistry issues. Yeah, I'm not too sure what Nia does at Mania. Maybe she's part of the Battle Royal, but I don't think she's going to be in anything massive unless Jade Cargill's ready for her. So what I can remember next from Raw is okay. So I've been wondering
Just
ever
finished my
since.
bottle of Prime.
There he goes, and it
Hashtag
says
Logang for life.
strawberry watermelon, huh?
My United States champion. That's
United States Championship flavored prime. Tastes like
hashtag CryptoZoo.
they should release a US title edition, but I digress.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, a little bit of
And it
promotional.
comes with a little US title like that that goes around it that you can take off.
Yeah. Or hey, maybe that is if real quickly if Logan wins, maybe he redesigns the title to look like a big bottle of prime.
The
But,
Prime spinner belt, and it's just a bottle of Prime that spins.
and then like the side place just to like have little capsules of prime he can drink.
I can make
Matches.
that right now. I'll have that ready for the next episode.
Wonderful. Um, yeah. So back to Raw. Speaking of secondary titles, Gunter. So I've wondered for a while now what his title match at Mania will be. There's a lot of names being floated around. Jey Uso is one of them. They already have a title match. Braun Breaker was one I was interested in, but it seems like he's going to be on SmackDown now. He signed with Nick Aldis' team. And the person who seems to be the front runner is someone who I thought would be in the world title match as part of a triple threat, a 3-way with McIntyre and Seth. But it looks like it's going to be Sami Zayn and Gunther. There was a bit of a backstage promo where Sami Zayn was
Yeah,
talking about how he was world champion material, and Gunther came into the fray, and they had a little stare off.
I thought it was going to be Dominic, because didn't Dominic have a little thing with Gunther in the ring?
Yeah, Judgment Day and
Either this week or
Imperium.
last week.
Yeah, it was last. No, I know. I forget which week it was, but yeah, they definitely had a stare down both factions.
Yeah, so hopefully we get Gunther versus Dominic and Sami Zayn maybe in a triple threat. I think that'd be fun. Because I do think Dominic's ready for some singles titles on the main roster. He's not the best, but only one way to improve is by getting those big matches. You can't improve unless you have bigger matches, I think. Because if you don't get those bigger matches, you don't have the experience of being in them in the first place, so therefore you'll never get to them.
No,
So it's
and
just one of those things, I think.
yeah, I completely get that. And also, if you wanted to go down the cheesy route, I know people want Gunther to get pinned to lose his title just to build up the next star. What if you just have, and this is purely devil's advocate here, what if you have Dominic pin Sammy all the other way around, And then to hold off Gunther from the world title, you have Gunther trying to chase the IC title. I don't think you do McIntyre and Gunther right away. I think you wait and hold off on that a little bit.
No. And when you do get to Gunther versus McIntyre, Survivor Series 2019, Gunther was eliminated by Drew McIntyre
Oh, okay.
with the Claymore in that match. So you've got that bit of history there.
I thought you were saying that's when you want the match to be. I was like, just going back in a time machine. I mean, yeah, have the match at Survivor Series if you want McIntyre to have a long reign, or Priest, whoever has it, and then McIntyre can win it back. But yeah, McIntyre Gunther could be the Survivor Series match, and I wouldn't be mad at it because they're not doing brand versus brand champions now. I don't think so. Yeah. But do you think it's Sami Zayn? Is he the one to dethrone Gunther, or do you want Dominic?
I don't want either.
Okay.
My pick to dethrone Gunther would be Ilya Dragunov,
I like that.
but that's like a fantasy pick.
That's like Ash in Berlin would be a good spot for that.
It would be.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he's currently,
the two Europe, two. Wait, no, one's Russian.
yeah, they're not really in Europe anymore
Ignore me.
for some reasons.
Two guys that made their name in Europe, let's say,
Mm.
in that
Yeah,
case,
both part of
having
NXT
a
UK.
huge title match in the main event of a pay-per-view in Europe would be
Yeah,
huge.
and if you can recall, when he was Walter, them two were in WXW, Germany's main wrestling promotion. So you have that
Yeah.
history go off. There's a lot they can do with
And they
Gunther.
had their two bangers in NXT and NXT UK too.
They are like the main focal points of Europe. Like when you think of European wrestling, you think of Sheamus, McIntyre, Gunther, Dragunov.
I didn't know who Ilya Dragunov was until late 2020 when they had that match.
No, I knew of him
I,
a few months before WWE, but yeah, he's really burst onto the scene, hasn't
no clue who he was. All I saw was Gunther, or Walter at the time, chopping, um, just them two slapping each other to death, and like it was just brutal, and I loved it in the completely normal way, if that's even possible. But
he?
that's when I first saw Ilya Dragunov, and I just knew he was destined for greatness.
Shout out Toby. He's really one of them guys who you look at his height. He's 5'9". He doesn't act like a wrestler who's 5'9". He acts like a wrestler who's 6'9". He has that aura about him. He hits hard, and his personality is harder. No homo, but he really has that. You could buy him as a future world champion just
Oh,
because of his
100%.
intensity. Like if you see his
Multiple time
matches,
world champion.
that finisher where he just a forearm to a grounded opponent, brutal. Like he's got the moves, he's got the look.
He's got the moves like Jagger. Like, come
Mm.
on, man.
And he's better than Jack Swagger.
What else was on Raw?
Uh,
Cody and Waller.
yeah, so they main evented and is tied into the whole bloodline thing in a little bit. So Waller and Grayson seem like the type of heels where you can put them up against any main event face and they can
Sorry,
just get
who?
their Grayson Waller and Austin Theory.
You said
They,
Waller and Grayson.
I mean, if you want to run off that, three faces of Waller.
Go for it.
He's good enough. But they're the type of team that you could put against any main event face and get their ass kicked, and it's no problem at all. I mean, we'll talk about Theory and Orton. They did the same thing on SmackDown. But yeah, it was like a 5-10 minute match, not much, just really giving Cody that main event match up, just getting the crowd on his side. And then Paul Heyman came out after the match. Cody won. Paul Heyman came out, wanted to talk to Cody, came in the ring. Cody was having none of it. He was pissed off. He had enough of Heyman's mind games. Security came out, and I think Heyman said to Cody, "Okay, if you're not going to let security in, can I come in? I knew your father. You know, we have history." And Cody says, "Not anymore." And he just started swinging at security man, really bringing that edge to the to the interaction between the two.
Something I should mention. One of the security
Yes.
guards, is actually the voice of Buzz from WWE 2K19. If you remember the career mode when you play it, your main character's name was Buzz. He's the guy that voices your character, so that was something.
Is that two? Yeah,
Just thought I should
2K20,
mention
huh?
that. No, it was your character in 2K19, and he had a
19.
podcast in 2K19 20.
Okay. BCW. What times?
BC Dub.
Um.
I did see
Yeah.
this part because at the end, Heyman has two phones and says "Call Roman Reigns" and "Call The Rock." I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Really seemed doing all that too. And I think this is. I liked this line. The bloodline is not hunting me. I am hunting the bloodline. Um. It feels like we're going full steam ahead with this. Not that we weren't before, but we're really like. There's no. You know how Cody was doing his side quests with Nakamura, how Roman was focusing on the four way, and how Roman, just keeping his guys in check, and now the Rock comes in. I think we're really like focusing on Cody and Roman coming to blows now in the storyline, which is good. This feels like a good start to the feud in terms of the Mania 40 matchup, but Cody didn't really have that much of an edge. He had some of it in 2023, but he seems like he's really
Yeah, but then
pissed
he
off
went to
now.
AEW. Now he's Adam Copeland.
Ah, I miss him.
Edge.
I mean, I'll tell you what, this match will have me edging. I'm really excited for this match, and yeah, I think they're pacing it well. Um, did you like the? How do you feel about the promo Cody and Heyman had on Raw?
Be honest, I didn't see it. I just saw the ending of
Okay,
the him calling Rock and Roman with the two phones. I've not been keeping too much up with wrestling apart from Twitter.
that's fair enough. It's a lot nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too much.
It's like how podcasters say wrestling is a full-time job. It feels like it now, in a good way, but it feels like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a good
Mm.
episode of War. You can say something? Sorry.
No, there's not much to say really.
Mm.
Um, from what I've seen, it was a solid episode.
Hmm.
That's all I really got.
Okay. But it was good episode. Would you like to go with NXT or AEW? Because there's something happened on NXT that I'm really interested in.
Go with NXT. It happened before. It happened before Dynamite.
I'm gonna level with you. I only saw this segment, so it's probably all
Same.
about it. Yeah. So, um, Ridge Holland, he's going through a bit of a crisis of conscience right now. He's injuring everybody. Are imitating life, I guess.
Before we go into that part, should we talk about
Yes.
the lead up to this?
Yeah. If
Like
you want to go.
all the messages.
Yeah.
So
So
there was the cryptic messages popping up. A lot of people thought it was Okada because it was talking about like Japanese traditions or whatever. I can't remember exactly, or like Japanese um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like myths type
hmm.
thing. So everyone was thinking, "Oh my god, it's Okada! It's Okada! It's Okada!" Um, this happened for a couple of weeks, and then Ridge Holland came out. You were talking about Ridge, so I'll let you can continue with that.
Okay.
I just thought we
Yeah.
should mention the actual build up towards this moment with the messages, the cryptic messages that kept popping up through the show over the couple of weeks. But
Yeah, because I know.
continue with Ridge.
Sure, and the Dutchies didn't know who they were going to be. People were speculating quite wrongly. Okada, Julia. Maybe it
I
was
think Tamatonga was thrown about. We'll get to
yeah.
him in a bit.
Also Dante Chen, who's already in NXT. There was a few names out there. And then yeah, so Ridge Holland's been on NXT. He started off by injuring the champ Dragunov. Great start. He's injuring Gallus with a chair. He's been quite a destructive force, and that's a good indicator. I didn't realize it just until now, but the week before, a certain man showed up, a certain chairman. Holland was attacking everyone with a chair, and he didn't like what he was doing with the chair. So what Holland comes out, I think he's calling out Gallus. Then lights go out. And then something comes up about the truth always hurts. Um, and then he gets hit with his chair, and it was this perfect shot of the limelight on this mystery man, the light coming off him, picks up the hood.
Who was it?
Sean Spears, the chairman, formerly Ty Dillinger.
Complete shock, by the
Yeah.
way. No one reported on this at all.
No.
Kept fully secret, which is very rare in wrestling these days.
Yeah, because we were hearing
I loved
that
it.
he was because he was out of NXT. I know there was rumblings he was out of AEW, but we had no idea if he was staying there or if he was out of contract, where he was going. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. He got to keep the name as well. He's Sean Spears now.
I remember years and years ago, this is like ECW, WWE ECW in like 2008, 2009. He wrestled under the name Gavin Spears. So, Spears is just part of him, I guess.
Gavin Spears, Sean Spears, Ty Dillinger, Stan.
And
he is.
Let's hope Shawn Michaels don't see him. Jesus Christ.
No, I hope they call back to it though. That'll be quite a nice callback.
That's all I really saw. Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin just doing great things as a team, as they do, because they're both great performers. I saw the contract signing between Mello and Dragunov.
Yes.
Tony D'Angelo interrupted, and implied that NXT is in cahoots with the mob because apparently Tony paid off security or something and they walked out. So that's something. I can't remember anything else from it. I just know that happened. But I know Tony D'Angelo has potential to be a top player, not only in NXT but on the main roster too.
Did you get any indication of a heel turn from him, or is it just a different storyline for him?
I think it's just a different story. He didn't seem like a babyface, but he definitely didn't seem like a heel.
Okay, that's what WWE are good at recently. It's not as black and white anymore. You have areas in between. I feel like Stand and Deliver is going to be a good card. Mello, Jake's going to be in there with, I don't know how, but they'll integrate him. I like what they're doing with the OC coming into NXT. Then they were just walking out Mia Yim on SmackDown. You need to do more with.
Since we've brought up the OC, I think it's a good time to point out Tama Tonga. He's done with New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
There's talks that there's rumors that he's been in talks with WWE. With Gallows and Anderson going to NXT and doing stuff in NXT, does this mean we see Tama Tonga go to NXT and team with the Bullet Club?
That is a definite round they could take, and probably top 3 booking choices I'd go for, because you have the history there.
Another thing.
Okay.
Now that we've got... If Tama Tonga shows up...
Yes.
Does Tangaloa show up as well?
And he keeps the Camacho name, because that was a...
Yeah, Camacho, obviously.
Yeah, you could do... so top 3 booking choices I'd make. You do the tag team with Camacho if he wants to come back.
And sorry to cut you off. Sorry if you can hear like a motorbike in the background and some prick's revving his engine.
Everyone wants an appearance on a DDT domain podcast. It's okay. But yeah, no, I completely get that, because he's in his early 40s, or he's 40. He's around that age. So you've got limited.
I think he's either coming up to 40s or he's early. So it's when you get to 40, it's like, right,
you've got to use him now.
Have one last run. WWE, fuck it.
Sean Spears is still 42, 43, so you've got to do whatever you do with him. You can't hold it off. You've got to do it then. So you could do the tag team with Tama Tonga Camacho. You could do the OC. You could have him interfere in the bloodline stuff. I'm not sure how you do that. I'm not sure even if that's the right way. But maybe something with Solo, because Solo's kind of fallen to the wayside since being John Cena. He's not really done much. So I feel like that could reinvigorate him, make Tama Tonga Roman's right-hand man, or The Rock's right-hand man, at Anger's Solo, and they have sort of a blow-off match. But you can do things with Tama Tonga. He's got the charisma, he's got the promo ability. I feel like you've got a high ceiling with Tama Tonga, and he's a bit younger than Sean Spears, and also I think he's in better shape too. You've got time with him.
Right. I was going to say we move on to AEW next, but I think with that being the focal point of the episode, I think we should move on to SmackDown and come to AEW after that.
no. And the thing about SmackDown is half of it was one segment, basically.
Yeah, 40 minutes of a promo just to say, right, we're having a tag match.
So, yeah. I mean, he did, in case anyone hasn't seen it yet, if you're living under a rock, The Rock came out and did a 30-minute promo, basically, just saying everyone is a crackhead who does cocaine and meth. You didn't have to call me out like that, but I understand. So yeah, Roman and Rock really healing it up. Yeah, it was basically a setup for a tag match. Rock has this interesting thing where he can talk for a long time. He can say a whole lot of nothing, but he can keep you invested. If you want to go into detail on this, you can, but I'm just going to point out the thing that really interested me the most. As Rock was getting ready to cut off, Roman stopped him, and he asked him to acknowledge him. And there was a bit of tension, building up a bit of tension between the two. And Roman trying to get under, not getting under the Rock's skin, but just like really pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelope of, okay, you're the Rock, you are a huge megastar, but acknowledging me as your tribal chief. And the Rock just did that, acknowledged him, and he put his ones up to the air, made a little L sign, put him back down. So I think there's something there. How do you feel about this segment?
I hated it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it was not worth 40 minutes of my 2-hour show.
Yeah, you have limited time, don't you? And yeah,
everything that he said there could have been done within 20 minutes.
And it was said within 20 minutes because he did a Insta promo like hours before, saying a lot of the same stuff.
I ain't listen. I ain't watching all that. Happy for you, though. Sorry about
that. That's what Cody put in his tweet. But with what he put on Insta, he explained something which I'm really excited they explained. So you know how this whole storyline started because of a bad booking decision and they had to pivot. Rock explained it really well, and he said, okay, after Cody won the Rumble, we had a talk. Cody, I know you were born into the wrestling business. I was born into the wrestling business. Roman was born into the business. You understand the business is bigger than all of us. Roman versus me is the biggest main event in Mania history. We don't need Cody to finish. We don't need you to finish your story now. Do that after. Cody agreed, but then Cody went back on his word, and they booked it well. I feel like they're trying to tie.
They booked it as well as they can.
Yes.
Like, it's not good booking. It's just better than what we had, I think.
Somebody called it a masterful pivot, and I kind of agree. It started off poorly, but where we are at now is good. Do you know the stipulation for the tag match?
Yeah, so if Cody and Seth wins, their main event is Bloodline free, no interference whatsoever. The Rock and Roman win, then the Bloodline are allowed to interfere. It's going to be Bloodline rules, whatever. Solo's going to sing the national anthem, something. I think that's going to turn into a Solo face turn, by the way. Making jokes at Solo's expense. I don't think he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, he's no nonsense, isn't he? He just gets right down to it.
He should have said He should have said something about Solo doing math equations.
Oh.
Solo's going to do some algebra.
Oh, fuck, I hate math. So, yeah, I mean,
There was one other big thing on SmackDown other than that. We'll get to that in a minute, though.
Yeah. Real quick, before we move on, and we'll get your thoughts on this as well. I don't know what they do here. At night 1, here's what I want. I want Rock and Roman to win. And then night 2, I want it to be the most overbooked madness ever. I want Drew McIntyre involved. I want Jey Uso involved. I want Seth involved. I want Stone Cold to come out. I want it to be like Avengers Endgame. I want it to be this 30, 40-minute match, overbooked madness.
You want it to be TNA, basically.
Yes, but this is the one time I will accept overbooked because it's such a big story. It'll be like a movie at the end. But what would you like to see happen?
Full on Endgame, Infinity War, whatever one it was.
Exactly, crossovers and all that.
Tony Khan's gonna come out and stunner The Rock.
the Forbidden Doors in full effect. So
Um,
yeah,
yeah, that'd be great.
no matter what, Cody needs to win. You can't prolong this any longer.
I think if Cody lose the tag match,
Yeah.
takes the pin from Roman.
Mhm.
I said this to my mate earlier. So what you do is you have Cody, Rock setting up for people's elbow on Cody. He rebounds off the ropes, tag made. Roman's tagged himself in. The Rock and Roman stare daggers into each other. Cody gets back up, and he does the, like, just bring it thing. And Roman comes in, spears him. 1, 2, 3. Cody's just been pinned clean at WrestleMania Night 1. What does this mean for the main event next night, tomorrow? And that's
Yeah.
when everything happens, and Cody ends up winning the title.
Yeah, it plants out, doesn't it?
But yeah, and The Rock costs Roman.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. Like, this is it really put us on the right path, and I like where they're going with this. Yeah, and the other massive bit was our main event of the night. Randy Orton versus Austin Theory. I know there's a
That's a
spot that
lie.
you no. Oh, really?
Bailey and Dakota Kai versus the Kabuki Warriors happened.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this broke my heart. I know.
So they
Yeah,
they 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 was set up. They were in a match, having the match. Dakota's on the apron. Bailey's crawling to the corner. Dakota jumps off the corner away from the tag, and the match got thrown out, I believe, as a
yes.
disqualification or something, or no contest. Dakota Kai is still part of Damage Control. Yeah, that's the best I can explain it. That's all that really happened. So Bailey's been screwed over by Dakota, Kyrie, Io, and Asuka. That team is amazing. Bailey don't need them. We're gonna get that at the main event of night 1, hopefully, and that tag match between Roman, Cody, Seth, and Rock are gonna be opening night 1 rather than main event.
I mean, you could see the turn coming, but it's heartbreaking all the same. And yeah, I agree. I want the Rumble winner to main event the night of Mania. It's just how it should be. I know you have Rock, and he's a big megastar. Um, but Bailey hasn't been promoted on the posters yet for Mania. Not that much anyway. And it's a bit of a shame because you can tell they're not focusing or highlighting her as much as she should be.
Well,
Which is
this
a
was
shame.
Triple H's first feud when he took power, and I feel
Hmm.
like that's one of the main reasons it should main event as well.
Yeah, it signifies, doesn't it? It signifies Triple H's booking. Well,
This was his first thing he done.
yeah, he bought Bailey and no, he bought Dakota Kai and Io Skyber. Called up Io and brought back Dakota, which was a good call. I'm excited for the match though. No matter what happens, it'll be a good match. I hope Bailey wins. Um, yeah, would you
And
like to
now
go
we
to the
get
main
to the
event?
theory match.
Yes. This was set up backstage with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Looking back at,
With a great segment.
yeah, it was. They were watching Logan Paul absolutely deck Orton with the fast knucks, and this ties into like Logan having them as their keys basically every now and then. Orton makes a pun, makes a few jokes, saying, "Oh, you know, it'd be really great if I slap the taste out of your mouth in that ring tonight. You can decide who goes against who." And this is tying into what we said earlier about Austin Theory maybe turning face. Is Grayson Waller again sets up Theory for the match? I feel like Grayson Waller he doesn't want any matches and he just gives them all to Theory. And Theory was like, "You set me up. I have to face Orton now." And Waller's like, "Oh no, man! Orton's like beating Orton in the main event is huge for your career. They could do a FaceTime
It
with that."
is. It is.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like they will do a Theory FaceTime in the future, but for now he is a bona fide heel.
And that theory
And
face turn's gonna hit hard because he's great. I think he's great as a face.
yeah, and not only I think he can connect with the audience, his ring awareness is off the charts for a person of his age. There was a spot in this match, and I know you've seen it. So do you want to talk us through what happened?
Um, I somewhat saw it. I believe Theory was on the top rope, I think.
Yes.
No. Yeah, Theory was on the top rope.
It was a suplex spot.
Trying to, yeah. It seemed like Orton was trying to climb up there for a like superplex type thing,
hmm.
and I think someone might have slipped.
Yeah.
And as they've slipped, Theory sort of propelled his weight forward to get a suplex out of it.
Yeah, it was like it was really weird. It was like so Orton put his foot on the rope and he slipped off, and it could have landed. It could have ended really awkwardly, but yeah, Theory used Orton's shoulders to push him forward. It was sort of like a suplex into a neck breaker sort of thing.
Yeah.
Really good ring awareness by Theory. I think it highlights how mature he is for his age in terms of being an in-ring competitor.
24 years old. He's like 26, 27 now.
Yeah,
About the same age as Dominic.
yeah, like Dominic. I mean, they're probably not on the same level, these three, but Rhea Ripley, Dominic, Austin Theory, the future's in good hands. They're really building up these talent to be like ring generals in the future, which I'm really happy for.
The ring generals.
The ring general.
There's nothing else really on SmackDown. Bron Breakker fought Zion Quinn
Mm.
in 5 seconds.
Another Aussie wrestler, and he missed on Chamber. Unfortunate, but yeah, Breaker's going to be a star. He's been ready.
I guess this brings us to AEW.
Wonderful. I will kick off. I know stuff that happened. I know everything that happened. I just don't know how much of it I remember because the thing with AEW is
We'll go over the bare minimum because I feel like sometimes the shows aren't necessarily like. Sometimes we shouldn't go into detail a lot with the shows. I feel.
Yeah, because it's a lot of the same stuff. It's just oh, they had a good match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we sort of tend to ramble on a bit too much about the same thing over and over.
Okay,
Because what can you say about a show? Okay, these two had a good match, and then we get to SmackDown, and it's these two had a good match, and then it's these two had a good match.
So we'll kick off with the promo. Man Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Man seems like he's healing up a bit, but for good reason because Swerve mentioned how he threatened Hangman's kids, and he'll do whatever he needs to become champion. This brings out Samoa Joe saying it's funny how you two are fighting over each other when he's here and he's not losing their title no matter what. And then, yeah, Hangman and Swerve went at it. I think, in terms of because Revolution will be headlined by the tag team match, Sting and Co. I think this will be a good middle of the show world title match. I'm not too sure who wins here, but I'm liking these three as a mini feud heading into something maybe bigger down the line with Swerve and Joe. What were your thoughts on this?
Samoa Joe wins the match.
Okay.
By pinning Hangman specifically, so Swerve don't take the pin. Swerve will win the belt in the next few months.
And then hopefully that sets up Ospreay at All In or All Out because we want. I think we both talked about this off podcast. This is the match we want: Swerve and Ospreay, and that's how we get there. I feel.
I've wanted this for a little bit now, and I'll get to see it in person.
Veins. Yes. I'll be getting my ticket in about a few months' time when either the prices are lower or maybe I'll go back to see it, but I'll be there as well. It'll be a good card, and yes, Joe can retain for now. I'll give Joe a few more weeks. Yeah, is there anything else you want to add to that, or shall we move on?
I think we move on. There's not much else to really say about it.
Exactly. So we'll just go over a few matches before we get to the Sting party. And so Chris Jericho versus Atlantis Jr. Backstory: Jericho wrestled his father in WCW in the 90s. His father threw in a towel. Atlantis Jr. during the match. Jericho wins via ref stoppage. Another CMLL guy, so they're doing a bit of a takeover with AEW. They've been doing it a lot with Blackpool Combat Club. So
we might be seeing a stoppage with that due to visa troubles.
Yeah, so the guy who faced Bryan Danielson a few weeks ago, Hachihiro, along with some other wrestlers, visas are expiring, so we may have a bit of an issue with that. Maybe they pick it up after Revolution once you get that sorted. Yeah, I could go without seeing Jericho for a while. Not sure how you feel about that.
100%.
Yeah.
He's not entertaining. Hasn't been for about 2 years.
Mm.
Probably even longer. But yeah, I just get him off my screen.
Yeah,
He,
I
he's
agree.
he's not fun.
He's not a fun guy. I mean, he's got the same sort of disease-like qualities of fun guy, but he's not a fun guy. But
Yeah.
yeah. Um, in terms of other stuff that happened on the show, we had the six-man tag, Combat Club versus FTR and Eddie Kingston. It should have been a pay-per-view match. I mean, they're doing FTR and Blackpool Combat Club at a pay-per-view. Fair enough. And they're doing Kingston and Danielson at the pay-per-view as well. Just a good little setup, I guess. Are you looking forward to any of these two matches on Revolution?
Um, the tag match between FTR and Combat Club. Who is it? Is it Moxley and Claudio?
Yes, and it will be against FTR. Yeah.
And it's Kingston and Danielson on pay-per-view separately. Those two matches I'm looking forward to the most. One, because FTR is quite literally my favorite tag team at the moment. Have been for a while.
Mm.
Love Moxley and Claudio. That's just going to be a good match. And Kingston versus Danielson. Also going to be a great match for a championship I forgot existed.
Yeah, the Triple Crown or Continental title.
Yeah. There was no
And
need for the title to exist.
no, I think they just wanted that Kingston picture like in Kawada style with the three titles. Um, but yeah, not really much else to say from that. Shall we get to the main event? It was an iconic moment here. One that takes us
Rolled
back to the
back the
90s.
years, you could say.
Yes. How he does this at 60 and still looks good is beyond me, but uh
I could do that at 18 and look autistic. Like, I shouldn't say
yeah,
that.
disjointed is the word I think.
Yes.
So the Young Bucks been healing up recently, really playing into the EVP part. Uh Darby Allin wanted to come out, mess around, find out, got beat up by the Young Bucks. And then probably the spot of the night, in his last Dynamite appearance, Sting came down from the rafters. And there was a really interesting thing that we heard about what happened before this, Cameron.
Was there? What?
Yeah, so it
Oh,
was in
yes.
yes.
We talking about Sting coming down from the raster?
Yeah, so that came down and Tony Khan did something that I'm not too sure how to feel about. Nothing not too bad, but interesting decision by him before.
I'm lost.
Oh,
I
he
forgot what we were talking about.
yeah, so yeah, Sting coming down from the rafters. It's can be a dangerous spot. So
Oh,
called
yes.
Martha Hart
Yes.
and asked for permission, didn't he?
Yeah. Which is understandable. Um, she lost her husband's Owen Hart during a similar spot when Blue Blazer comes down from the rafters in a harness. Obviously, um, at the Over the Edge pay per view in 1999, the harness malfunctioned, snapped. He fell. Um, unfortunately, died during the event. Um, so it makes sense that he's consulted Martha Hart, who's seen this happen. Obviously, she might not have been comfortable seeing it. Um, I personally think it doesn't matter, but it is nice that he did this. The reason I say it don't really matter is because it's part of Sting's legacy. I think he's got a right to do it if he really wants to.
Yeah.
There's not much Martha can do to stop it, as bad as the Owen situation was. But it is nice of Tony to consult her about it.
The thing about Tony Khan, I know people say he's a big wrestling nerd or he's a mark or whatever. He's a compassionate man, and he will do things in the interest of morality in terms of what can make me the most money. I mean, you could argue against that with Ric Flair showing up in AEW, but maybe that's a personal request by Sting. Um, it was really nice of him to ask. I know there's questions about should he have even brought it up to Martha, but I feel like the main thing is I'm sure Martha feels the same. Is that Tony Khan did this with good intentions, and it was a really good, it was a really cool moment too.
Yeah. No, it's just a shame we didn't get to see him We have seen him do it in AEW, but disguise himself as Sting. We have seen him do it in AEW, but it would have been nice to see it again. One last
Exactly.
time.
Um,
But the Rafters was cool.
yes, it was, and good sent off for his Dynamite career. And then he finishes off this Sunday at Revolution. Tomorrow, as of this recording. Do you want to go into the
Um,
Revolution predictions now, or do you want to save that?
uh, it's up to you.
Okay, I think we should just pivot off that. I mean, we can just start from the main event and any matches that we can think of. We can just make a prediction now because some of the matches are just they are there.
I'll grab the card right now.
Wonderful. So, I mean, I'll kick off with the main event. We'll just because we just talked about it. Sting's last match, teaming with Darby Allin in a tornado tag for the tag titles against the challengers, the Young Bucks, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. Do you believe? Because I know Sting's part of the generation that believes in going out on their back. Is it the right call for Sting to lose in his last match?
Um, yes and no.
Mm.
Because it's not only him that's losing. It would also be
Darby.
Darby.
Mm.
So it's either Sting takes the pin or
Yeah.
Darby pins the Bucks.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna go with Sting taking the pin though, for the sole reason that it's unfair if they win and now Darby has to relinquish the belt despite not losing it because Sting's retiring.
mm, because
So I see Sting and Darby losing that match.
yeah, because I no matter what, they're not going to be champions the day after. Either they lose the titles via pinfall or via vacation. So it's really a case of do you need Darby to take the pin? No, you do not. It's probably the worst call we could make, and I do think it will be a case of Sting taking the pin there. So yeah, I'll pick Young Bucks as well.
Right. So I've got the card here on
Wonderful.
Wikipedia. Starting off, we've got Julia Hart and Sky Blue taking on Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale.
When did they make this match?
Don't know, but it's here.
Okay.
It's AEW for you.
Am I right in thinking Julia's the TBS champ now?
Julia is the TBS champion,
Okay. I
I
think
believe.
you.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think the TBS title is in a place right now where the champion's undefeated. You can have them take a loss, and I'd like to see Willow go for that title. Chris Statlander could probably go for the women's title in the future, purely because she's won the TBS title. So yeah, I think it's going to be Nightingale and Statlander winning her.
I completely agree with you. I love seeing Willow Nightingale on my screen.
Mm.
She's just a joy to watch in ring, out the ring. She's just a lovable person, and I think she deserves a shot at the title. Julia's been great as well, but I do want to see Willow get a push in the future. So I'm gonna go with Willow and Statlander as well.
Okay.
Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett for the International Championship.
I'm calling it now. Match Illinois.
I don't think it will be.
That's fair enough. There are a lot of good matches on this card.
I guess I'll give my prediction for this one first, because you've done the last one.
Yes.
I think we could see Roderick Strong win here. The interference from Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, I think they'll get ejected, and as they're getting ejected, Roddy does something like, I don't know, smacks him with a Slim Jim or something. And there you have it. There's the distraction. Boom. Isn't his finish at the end of Heartache or something?
Yes.
Or is that his theme song?
No, it's the suplex into the backbreaker.
Yeah, I think it's also his theme song.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll see a new champion in Roderick Strong. Cassidy's been great. He wasn't meant to be champion, but Moxley got dropped on his head twice. But yeah, I see Roddy walking away with the W.
And not only that, I feel like the world's going to realize how good of a wrestler Roderick Strong is. I feel like he's not been shackled, but he's really his character traits have shone through in spite of his wrestling. Like the whole Adam gimmick kind of makes you forget how good of a wrestler he is, and I feel like we'll get reminded of that on Sunday. And if you really wanted to have Cassidy lose, Samoa Joe will need a competitor before Swerve takes the title again. I feel little buffer, have Samoa Joe and Orange Cassidy. That'll be an interesting match.
That'd be good. That'd be fun. Different sort of classes of style. Like one's a powerhouse, the other's a not powerhouse.
Yeah, big scenery. Big change of scenery in that. So yeah, I feel like the time is right. Orange Cassidy, he's been synonymous with the title. Give him something else. He deserves a different color to his personality. And his,
and not just orange.
Yeah, exactly. He needs a bit of red in his life. Have Samoa make him bleed or something. I don't know. On the Moxley belt. But yeah, I think it's going to be Roderick Strong. I think it's the right call to have a new champion here.
Next match, Samoa Joe versus Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana in a 3-way for the World Championship.
A question for you.
Who wants to walk with Elias?
I mean, you all do. But here's one I don't know the answer to, and I need to ask you. Cameron, come Sunday. Get it? Come Sunday. But on Sunday, will you be swerving when you drive?
If I've had a drink, yeah. No.
It's a drunk crashes that are the problem. Anyway. So I don't think we're gonna see a new champion. I want there to be. We both said.
I don't see it. I don't see any point where there should be a new champion anytime soon.
No. We there should be eventually. I think we both want Swerve.
In the next 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, by like Double or Nothing, like, probably is the best time to shift the title.
Time.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, yeah, let's keep the title on Samoa Joe. See what we can do. Give him some new people. Give him Orange Cassidy.
We're supposed to be going against each other, and all we're doing is agreeing.
Why are we so agreeable? This is the worst podcast ever. No, I'm gonna go with Samoa Joe.
I agree. Basically the same thing you said, so there's no point in me adding on. Anyway, next match. Timeless Toni Storm with Mariah May and Luther, Mariah May for life, versus Deonna Purrazzo for the AEW Women's World Championship.
I think we both got the same thing here. Do you want to start this off?
There's not much to it. Like, it's going to be Toni. The story's great. How they were best friends. They both got matching tattoos. That's all there really is to the story.
It's not a bad story. It's just very not stale. It's just very one-dimensional.
We were friends and now we're not. Like,
yeah, it's one-dimensional, but they're working a dimension in a good way. It's a good storyline. It's just not much to it. It'll be a good match, but chemistry and all that.
Yeah, but Tony's winning.
Yeah, exactly. Shame that the women's world title isn't talked about as much. Maybe when Jamie Hayter comes back, we'll get some more eyes on it. The rematch between Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter is what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, Toni to retain.
Next match. Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson in a singles match for the Continental Crown Championship. The what?
Yes.
Oh, the AEW Continental Championship, Ring of Honor World Championship, and the New Japan Strong Championship. Openweight Championship.
And I believe if Kingston wins...
The Continental Crown is all of the above.
Yeah. A Triple Crown, basically, AEW's one. I feel like there's no stipulation here if Kingston wins, they have to shake hands. Or something.
If Bryan Danielson loses, he has to shake Eddie Kingston's hand.
Okay. I think that's happening. The win by Eddie Kingston. I'm not too sure if he shakes his hand or not, but I feel like Kingston wins and Danielson just... He's been playing the heel that's justified. I think he just goes into a full-on dickish heel by beating him up.
Our first disagreement.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So I'm going to go... So yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I've got Bryan Danielson because he's the GOAT. He's amazing. He's the best wrestler in the world today.
He is.
No, Bryan Danielson, just because I feel like it's overdue him winning title. He says he doesn't want to win a title, but I don't care. He's winning it.
Hmm.
That's all there is to it.
Do you have him hold
I
the
don't
title
care for the
until?
story. I just want Danielson to win the title.
Do you have him hold the title until his semi-retirement?
No, he loses it the next month to someone else.
Okay, that's fair. I'm just happy Kingston's been elevated somewhat. He was not getting any
Speaking of
much up.
elevated,
Oh yes,
Will
yes, yes.
Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita.
I totally meant for that to happen.
This is match of the night.
Yeah, and it's insane because there's not much story to it, is there? Not from what I can
Just
tell.
two Don Callis boys.
Don Callis, ironically, being the face of this feud, saying, "Hey, I've got two of my favorite wrestlers in this faction. They can fight each other for your amusement." What a face?
Will Ospreay winning. Don't
Has to be,
care
right?
about the story. Will Ospreay's winning.
Last match in AEW is kind of weird if you have him lose at this point. Yeah, I think if this is the
But then
easiest match to
Takeshita just
get.
loses again.
I think he's like Ziggler and Zayn, where you can have him lose, but it doesn't hurt his stock too much. I could be wrong, but yeah, he needs to lose.
So
No,
I guess
Ospreay
we're
needs to
both
win.
going for Ospreay then.
Yes, I agree.
Christian Cage with Kill Quick.
Okay, quick.
Christian Cage with Kill Switch, Mother Wayne, the Prodigy Nick Wayne, and the property and Nick
Property of
Wayne
his balls.
versus Christian Cage versus Danny Garcia for the TNT Championship.
Another feud where somebody's father is dead. I'm not too sure what's happening with Copeland. I'm not too sure if he's injured or not. I think he is
I
not
think it's a
cleared.
shoot injury.
Yeah, because I feel like they would have either done a triple threat or one-on-one. But I like this match, giving the spotlight to Daniel Garcia. I would, and honestly, this is probably unpopular. You may think different, but I think you pull the trigger. You have Garcia win here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, and we disagree again. Father Cage will win all the belts in All Elite Wrestling. That's all there is to it again. Just give him the belt. Let him keep it.
Have him win the women's
He's doing
title.
great stuff. Some of the best stuff I've seen him do. And that includes his entire 25-year career. 30-year career. That includes his career.
Yeah, the Renaissance of his career. I'm really enjoying it.
FTR versus the Blackpool Combat Club.
So
This is a tough one to call.
yeah, you have a prediction in mind already, or do you want me to go off? Because it's tough.
You go. I need to talk about it later.
Okay. I think this is contingent on what happens in the Continental title match, and I have Kingston winning. So I think it's going to be BCC getting the win here, probably by cheating or somewhat. Yeah.
You probably gets involved.
Yeah.
How?
Oh yeah, he's not booked at all. So yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, I'm going to go with Blackpool Combat Club.
I'm probably going to go with FTR. I've not been following AEW too well. Didn't know this match was happening until now. Or today. Yeah, FTR. They're just good wrestlers that do good wrestling.
They do the wrestles really well.
Final match on here, the All-Star Scramble match. Winner will receive a future AEW World Championship match. Dante Martin versus Brian Cage versus Hook versus Lance Archer versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Wardlow versus Magnus versus Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's winning because it's Chris Jericho.
And Magnus, not to be confused with Nick Aldis. This is another.
Yeah, I was confused. I saw it and I was like, he's in WWE.
Double duty. Contract's very lenient in WWE now.
Yeah, Forbidden Door.
I would want Jericho to win, except he's old as fuck, and I don't like him anymore. So also they've had this whole thing with Wardlow. He cut that really insane promo where he was talking about how he injured Punk and how he's just been overlooked again. So I'm thinking Wardlow for this. I don't think there's a market in which Jericho can be built up as a world title challenger. I think
there isn't, but it's Tony Khan booking it.
Yeah, and that worries me. I want Wardlow, but I can see them giving it to Jericho.
Same. I think it's going to be Jericho. But remember, this was supposed to be a Meat Madness match that got cancelled due to injury. Then they proceeded to put everyone that was announced from the Meat Madness into this match. So really, what was the injury?
Yeah, because Milo's been injured since at least January, I believe.
Yeah, Miro and Keith Lee are out injured.
Yeah.
Why has Tony Khan said due to injury it's been cancelled when you hadn't announced anyone that's injured?
I think he just writes all of his booking on a piece of paper, and he doesn't realise until he's booked it that things can't happen. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to the show.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show.
Yeah. So what do we have left? We've gone through all of the shows. We've gone through the chamber.
WWE 2K24 comes out next week.
I'm excited for this one. Probably
it's going to be great.
I haven't been excited for a game since God,
2K23.
I was going to say yeah, and
2K22.
Yeah, I mean it's like it feels like 2K23.5, but in the best way. Like it's like quality of life changes. So I'm excited for it.
I've seen GM mode, a lot of big changes in GM mode. There's a trading feature now, a talent scouting feature, ECW's in it.
Feels like
Teddy Long, Mick Foley, Teddy Long, William Regal's back.
Teddy DiBiase's a
Paul
GM
Heyman's
now.
a GM. DiBiase.
It feels a bit like
I don't know why DiBiase's a GM, but you know,
because he paid for it, I guess. But GM mode feels like it did in SVR 08. Maybe not as good, but it's promising.
Yeah, 100%.
And the DLC, have you seen?
Yeah, the DLC looks great. There's only 2 packs I want out of it, so that's why I haven't got deluxe. CM Punk has been announced as part of DLC. The first DLC pack, which drops in May, which is insane because he returned at the end of November, 4 months before the game releases. By the way, that is insane that they're managing to get him in the game in May.
You think that
6 months after he returned?
Yeah, that is a quite close window, isn't it? Do you think they have a because I know Cody came in and people were impressed that they got him in a year after for some reason. Do you think that it's an updated model, or do they use something from 2013 or 2011?
It was 2015. 2K15 was his last game.
Yeah, do you think they use that model, or do you think they have one of his?
They'll get a new face scan.
Okay.
With his Rumble gear. Maybe a throwback gear from 2011.
It's the gear. The pack he's in is called ECW Punk. So it could be they could
ECW,
cheese us.
Yeah.
And they could go with a ECW version of him.
Because we've got the Dudley Boys, Bubba and Devon, the Sandman,
yes.
Terry Funk, I believe.
Yes.
And CM Punk. That is a great lineup for a DLC, and I will definitely spend a tenner on it.
We were talking about this in a server we're in. We had a bit of not a disagreement, but we had some in similar ideas of Sandman should come in and bleed during certain matches, and during his entrance.
An Easter egg.
Yeah, exactly. Have him hit his head with a can in his entrance, bleeds during the beginning every so often. That'll be fun. But yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the rest of the DLC pack? Because I feel like it's strong overall.
Pat McAfee pack. Nice that he's in the game. Bad that he's in the DLC with his co-hosts.
Yeah, could have had one of them, or just some NXT guys.
Why are they there? We could have got so many other people. I'm not complaining because it's optional. I don't have to buy it.
Yes.
But damn.
And the cause of
Post Malone pack sucks as well.
Who's in Post Malone? I know he's part of a pack, but
I think Sensational Sherry.
Oh, and Headbangers as well, right?
Yeah, that's a stinky pack. At least your 2016 SmackDown universe is going to go well, having the Headbangers, or whatever they're called. Because remember when they returned in 2016 for SmackDown?
That was special. 2016 SmackDown was special.
It was something. We've got... I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't have it open. We've got another pack which has Kyrie, Carlito. Was Jade Cargill one of them?
Jade Cargill, Lyra Valkyria.
and Nia Jax.
I like that pick.
And Dragon Lee.
Yeah, I think
That's the last pack that gets released.
interesting.
Second to last pack.
They got Jade in there. That was like, considering her first appearance wrestling was Rumble. I know she had
CM
appearances in
Punk.
October. Yeah, like
Same as CM Punk.
yeah,
It's no different.
I'm happy with DLC. Probably their most.
I
Definitely the
think Jade
strongest one.
Cargill's later because they have to build it from the ground up, whereas CM Punk they could use an older model and just edit it.
Yeah, because I feel like Jade Cargill is in September or November's path. Not early.
Yeah, it's the September pack.
Okay.
Very late.
Yeah, interesting that they're going for a November release when the next game will be out in April next year. But I guess that's what they want to do.
August is normally the last one.
Yeah, I guess it's spreading it out so you play it a bit longer. But yeah, I'm happy with the DLC this year.
And we get referees in the game now.
Wonderful,
Charles
I love
Robinson,
that.
John Cone. Jessica Carr's in the thing. I can't remember the name of the other referee, but she's very good as well.
Aegis Smith. I've probably butchered the
Yeah.
first name pronunciation, but NXT ref.
Yeah, they're both great.
Mike Rome, Samantha Irwin, the ring announcers.
Yep. And the NXT one, I can never remember her name either.
I'm a face, not a name guy, so I'm with you there.
Yeah, I'll see someone and I'll be like, yeah, you're from here, and then I can never remember the name. Casket matches are returning, so ambulance matches exactly the same. The only difference is a casket match is the same minigame once, whereas in an ambulance match you've got to do it twice.
Yeah.
Same match overall, really. First time an ambulance match has been in a wrestling game since SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 for the DS. So
God.
wasn't even in a console game; it was in a DS game.
And the DS game sucked, sort of.
No, the DS 2010 games sucked. 08 and 09 sucked. The 2010 one was fun.
I had 09 for the Wii where you could do the pyro in your entrance and
you could do the chops and stuff, DX chops.
Yeah.
Love it. When you're doing your entrance, you can high five the fans by moving your control around.
Yeah, but 2K24.
Not much else to talk about really. Same as the other one, new stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's I need to finish up my universe mode in 2K23, then right onto 2K24. I just got the
I'll be starting up my universe mode on 24 SmackDown.
I got the normal version. Not because I couldn't afford the expensive one. I mean, I probably couldn't anyway, but in the first few days, that's when the community creations videos start to come into life. They don't really have much on a day one. You need to wait a few days for the good stuff to come on. But yeah, I can't wait. Busy week ahead.
I normally I got deluxe edition for 22, the NWO or whatever it was for the next one. Wasn't NWO, that was 22. What was 23?
Oh god.
Deluxe and like the Super Cena edition or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got that one instead.
Stuff.
I don't know why I got that. I don't play My Faction.
No. Nothing. I don't think there's gonna be many My Faction exclusives. There's gonna be stuff you can carry over like Toy Cena and Toy Cody.
Because you got the Evolution pack with it. That's why I got it.
Oh yeah, the
OVW pack. Yeah,
that's the one with Batista. Yeah.
Why did I say Evolution?
Because of Batista.
Probably.
Yeah.
This year I've just got standard. 50 quid, done.
Bosh, done. But yeah, is there anything else we missed, or did we cover all our bases there?
Nothing else to talk about. Remember, drink Prime.
Yeah. Don't do drugs.
This is not sponsored. Just do Prime.
We'll get there. We'll get to be sponsored. Like that's the goal by the end of the year. Yeah. Until then, we've got Revolution.
Front row to WWE's next show in the UK. Gonna tell Logan Paul that I've advertised Prime on my podcast, and I'm gonna ask for money.
Get a sign going.
Yep.
Okay, so
remember, drink Prime.
You better drink it. We'll be watching you. We're Big Brother in here. But yeah,
that is all, I guess.
Thank you for this podcast. It's been a good episode. Good to be back in some swing of things.
Hopefully we don't have another month-long break. Hopefully, we get one next week.
Yeah. Routine is good. Routine is good. Yeah, that's been the DDT to Main podcast. I've been Yan. You have been Cam. You still are Cam. Would you like to promote anything before you go besides Prime?
Hashtag drink Prime.
Hashtag don't do school, stay in drugs. Yeah. Until next time, thank you guys for listening.